I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. Today I'm going to answer a viewer question about what is the definition of a premises liability case. And very simply, a premises liability case is a personal injury case where the injury occurs due to some defect or negligence occurring on real property. So, when I talk about premises liability cases, people always say, oh, you're talking about, like if you're in a supermarket and you slip and fall on a grape. Well, yes, that would be a type of premises liability case, although I have to tell you that in 15 years of practicing law, I don't think I've ever actually had someone come in and see me for a personal injury case where they were in a supermarket and they slipped and fell on a grape. I want to give you some examples of premises liability cases that I've seen so you understand what I'm talking about when I tell you it's an injury occurring due to a defect on land or due to a landowner's or landholder's negligence. I guess along the idea of someone falling on the grape in the supermarket is, generally speaking, fall type of accidents. So some fall type of accidents that we commonly see are accidents that occur in the wintertime when people are in a parking lot and they're walking through the parking lot or the sidewalk hasn't been shoveled or plowed, hasn't been properly de-iced, and the landowner permits ice to form, the individual slips and falls on the ice and becomes injured. That's a classic type of fall accident, premises liability accident. We also see other type of fall accidents. For example, I've had a number of accidents where people are going up or down staircases and the steps are not properly secured. In one case, a lady was coming down a staircase. The bottom step was not sitting on a footer. It was just the bottom step was sitting on gravelly dirt, and basically when she stepped on the bottom step, it turned and she broke her leg and fell. That's another type of fall accident. Also, we have had cases where, say, someone on a construction site is walking through the construction site and there is a section of subfloor that's been partially cut out but not guarded properly or not marked, and when they step on that section of subfloor that's been partially cut, the subfloor breaks, they fall through the floor and land in the basement below or down on the next level below, sustaining catastrophic injuries. That is a typical fall type injury case, premises liability case that we would see. We also see structural failures. So for example, if you have a deck collapse case where people are out on a deck and the deck is not properly maintained or is not properly designed or built and the entire deck collapses and people fall and become injured, that's a type of premises liability case. Some others are things like falling objects. We occasionally will see someone who's in a store, there's an object or a product that's placed on the top shelf and it's not secured, it's not far enough on the shelf, and it falls and lands on their head. That's a typical falling object premises liability case. And also we see, on rare occasion, trench collapse cases where people, especially in downstate Delaware where the soil tends to be relatively wet, relatively sandy, construction crews will dig a trench to do trench work. They don't place a trench box, which is a trench box is a big metal thing that you can put in the trench to stop the sides from collapsing in. And it's relatively common that construction workers trenching, at least in the Delaware, Eastern Shore, Maryland area, don't always use trench boxes or other safety precautions. And when you have a trench collapse, people get injured and can get killed. So these are just some examples of the common types of premises liability cases that we see. I hope that by watching this video you learned something about personal injury law, you learned about what is a premises liability case. It's not just slipping and falling on a grape in the supermarket. I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. If you have questions for me, if you have questions about the law, send me an email. My email address is ben.schwartz@schwartzandschwartz.com. You can also go on our Facebook page, facebook.com/schwartzandschwartz, and post a comment or a question there. And if you give me a good question, I'll answer it on video. Thanks again, and have a great day.